This Easton here, which failed. This is my third dropper post. This one will be my third dropper post. I had an original Giant that came with the bike. That was 100 millimeter. That failed. And this Easton just recently failed. I'm kind of bummed because it's only like 3 years old and I didn't really use it that much. When I say fail, I mean that it wouldn't return to the up position without being helped. I don't know if this is repairable or what, but this is a 125 millimeter and this is a 150 millimeter. But you can see, one thing to point out is the length of this thing. So if this was the part that would go down into the down tube, is approximately 19 centimeters, I guess that would be, or 7.5 inches. Whereas this one, the new one, that goes down into the seat post 10 3/4 inches or 27.5 centimeters. And I think that's because partially is that this has an internal mechanism. If you look at it, this mechanism which controls it is all on the outside. So the reason I bring this up is because on my particular bike I have a bent seat tube, and also I have this support rod, or this pivot point that goes through the center of the seat post. So that's something to be kept aware of, is that if you have a bent seat post and or a trunnion or whatever that goes through there, a pivot point, you need to make sure that it fits. I got really lucky because I just ordered this thinking, oh, another inch on the dropper seat post, I have plenty of room inside the seat tube. Well, I didn't realize this dropper post was so long, so I ended up getting really lucky and it does fit. But you can see that on my bike it is 285 millimeters, and I think I measured it at 275, so I only have 10 millimeters to spare. So that is something to be kept aware of. I've gone ahead and spun my fork 180 degrees, and I've loosened up the trigger here so I can get some slack on it. And there's the amount of cable I have that I can cut. I'm probably, because this post goes down so deep, I've already installed the post once and the cable was too long. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is take another 3 inches off. This is my old cable. I didn't pull this out just because, for obvious reasons, to rethread the new casing through the frame would have been a royal pain in the... This seems to be a little bit easier to install than the Easton dropper post I had. They gave you this little instruction book, but it's pretty straightforward. The Easton was multi-pieces and it was a little bit more complicated. What we're going to do is we're going to put the ferrule on as best I can here. There we go. We're going to install that. We're going to make sure that this is snug, because what's going to happen is if this isn't on here, it's going to compress after I attach it, and that's going to have to make me redo the cable because it's going to take up the slop. You've got to make sure there's no play and that the cable is all the way into the trigger up there. According to the instructions, from the top of this to this little tie-down bolt that they give you, which is kind of ingenious because there's the 2 millimeter side, that's what you tighten it, and then you put a 3 millimeter on the other side to hold it still. I ended up using pliers because I didn't really see this till later. But what we want to do is make sure that it's 17 millimeters is what the key is, according to the instructions. 17. It's upside down, I know, but I'm doing it so I can see it. And that corresponds pretty much to the markings. Also, that's 17 there as best I can tell. So 1720, I don't think it's super critical. And what we want to do is just make sure that this is 17 millimeter. Oops, it moved a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and tighten it so it's finger tight so I can move it around a little bit. Go back and redo it. I'm going to say that's 17. That's close enough. And there's really not much clearance on the top, so I've got to get rid of all of this excess cable. Tighten it a little bit. Make sure that's tight there and double check it. Yep, I'm going to say that's good. What we're going to do is put our 2 millimeter in here, not use the ball end, use the harder end, because we're going to torque this a little bit. You can't say this is a really good idea. This is so much better than using the pliers like I did yesterday. Oops, don't want to do that. Don't want to strip it. So, there we go there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clip this excess, unless I can put it on. Hook it in. It has an opening so you can slide it in there and then slide it over and then that catches it. But as you can see, there's not much room for overhead here. I hate to do this if I got to redo it. I don't even know if that's short enough. See, what happens is this little piece of cable is restricting it from going into that opening there. When I tightened it, it twisted it, so it doesn't want to go where I want it to go. So I finally got it installed. It took me many tries, but what I had to do is the excess cable that's at the top of this barrel here is what was stopping it from going in, because it's got to clear this open fork. So the problem is any kind of tuft that's there, it won't go through because it hits there. So I really had to trim that down to like barely nothing, which I didn't want to do. But as you can see, I've got it in there now. And you basically just do that, and then that holds the ferrule in position. Last but not least is the trigger or the actuator that comes with it. The one I had before on my Easton was a vertical style. You know, went on here like this and went that way, which was, you know, perfect for me. But I was a little concerned about this one when I got it, but the more I play with it, the more I realize how adjustable it is. This you loosen this, and this whole arm will pivot around. You know, obviously this little hinge here will restrict you in some form, but if you were to put it down at the bottom, I have a 2x, and if I didn't have a 2x there, this would be perfect, because I would flip this down, and then the trigger would kind of be here where I normally shift. You know, you have this adjustment here, so I can put it anywhere along here. I've kind of put it in this position so that this, I'm hoping to put it more straight up so that this just doesn't get bent out of the way. So it'll probably be somewhere up here like this, and then I can do that for the dropper post. Just gotta watch I don't hit my brake reservoir. Yeah, this is obviously a barrel adjustment, but if you loosen this guy, you can actually rotate this a little bit within here like this, and then obviously, like I said, this can spin around and be anywhere. So what's really great, and I think the reason they did this was obviously for one buys, but also in the instructions they illustrate putting it on a drop bar. This kind of configuration on a drop bar would be vertical, so that would be perfect for if you want it out front or down at the bottom. It seems like it'd be a pretty good system for on a drop bar gravel bike. So there you go, there's the install of the X-Fusion Manic Dropper seat post. Like I said, the only real concern is the length of the mechanism, and that you don't hit anything inside your seat post to obstruct it.